Can you define for me a feminist in your own words?
Because any woman that in this day and age is still agitating for equal rights is a feminist.
So you don't think women deserve equal rights to men?
That's not what I've said.
What are you saying?
They have equal rights. Name a single thing I can do. Name a single thing I can do that you can't do. Outside of bench pressing 100 kilograms. Karibuni guys, this is the best podcast in Kenya. It's a based podcast. Karibuni sana, thank you for joining us and subscribe. We start from this point on, subscribe. My name is Chim, you already knew that. I'll be conducting today's conversation. And unfortunately, Lily Ayuko.
An emergency, last minute emergency.
Unfortunately, hopefully everything will turn out well and she'll be joining us once again next week. Introduce yourself, the guest of the week.
Hi guys, my name is Wamboi. Yeah, that's me.
A return guest, actually.
Yeah. And I'm Zola, as you always know. And today we have something, it's not controversial, but I think you learn a lot.
It's not controversial, really. Today we are discussing traditional relationships and whether they can still fly in modern Kenya. 2024. Also, reject finance bill. Sio tumemalizana nayo. Jamaa lazima
aende.
Ataanguka nayo. Aya, we can proceed. Let me ask, first of all, how would you define a traditional relationship?
I honestly don't know, if I'm being honest. I thought about it since I received the talking points. It's old, it's outdated, I don't know how to describe it.
It's outdated. I think you thought about it.
Okay, maybe a little bit, but that's all I know of traditional marriage.
Okay, Zola, how do you define a traditional marriage?
Traditional marriage is very simple. The father is the patriarch of the family,
head of the household.
Yeah, head of the household. He leads. The woman is the neck. She follows, and the kids. So simple as that.
The father has the vision for the long term. The mother essentially is a man manager. She manages not just the household, but also the kids and keeping things going, right? I would define it just as Zola did, and I'd go as far as to say it doesn't necessarily have to be one man and one woman. It can be Adam and Eve and Evelyn and Eva. I mean, God said something about Solomon. Solomon was the wisest man in the Bible, and when he chose his vice, it was multiple wives.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible.
So I agree that can be traditional.
I agree that it's in the Bible. I don't know.
Zola, by the way, actually, Zola and I have very differing views on this. I believe polygamy is a valid relationship. I believe, just don't lie to the people involved. Don't cheat like if you're a man, don't lie to her. Don't cheat her. I've in the past this has been a sin of mine in the past, and it never works out. Homie, it never works out. Don't lie. Don't lie. It never works out.
Women are too smart. They'll always find it.
Always. You'd rather just be upfront about it.
My view on that is just the polygamy was not God's idea. That's why He created a man and a woman. It's just men who are too stubborn. That's the reason. And for me, I want to go the way that God intended for it. A man and a woman. I already believe one woman is already a tough act. Now having two or three.
How about you, Amboy? Do you support polygamy before we go any further?
I don't know if I support it, but like if it happens, like I know it happens, and it's a valid relationship.
Actually, the question should be: will she be in part of a polygamous relationship?
I don't think so.
You'd rather he just cheats?
No, I'd rather you don't cheat. And
hey, sawa. So now we move on to the real first talking point, which is the statement true that traditional relationships cannot work in the modern day?
I start.
You're the guest, so
Yeah, I
have at.
think they can work. I think they do work actually. Yeah.
Wow.
But you call them outdated right now.
That's my personal opinion. But
So which is a personal
it's
opinion,
subject
you can
to
have them,
if you want it to, if that's what you want, if you want a traditional marriage for you, it can work for you. Like if that's what you're seeking and you find it, it will work.
Are you seeking a traditional relationship?
I am not. No.
So we will get there.
How would you define your ideal relationship?
My ideal, just me having autonomy. That's,
I don't know why
yeah.
women think traditional relationships, there's no autonomy.
There is
He's not
there.
your father. He's not going to tell you, sit over there and don't move, sit in the corner and don't move until I say so. There's a difference between tyranny and leadership. And unfortunately, a lot of Kenyan women grew up with tyrannical fathers. So when we even talk about the patriarchy, you instantly get
Yeah, that's
triggered.
exactly what I thought about when it's so traditional.
Actually, a good proper traditional relationship, and I'll just use the Bible because that's my basis. There's something about a virtuous wife, a virtuous woman in Proverbs. I think they call her the Proverbs 31 woman. That woman is a businesswoman. That woman is smart. She buys stuff. She's
able to guide you as a man.
There's this stereotype that has come about because some of the worst men have terrible relationships. Now all women ascribe, when they see a traditional relationship, they see it like that. Well, the truth is, when you have a good woman and you have a good husband, they are a team. He leads, you follow, but does not mean you're not gonna speak what you want to speak.
Also, it doesn't mean that there are certain areas where you will not lead. For example, and we had this conversation even with Mike Mondo. Shout out to Mike Mondo for coming through. Cheers, homie. We had this conversation where he was explaining in his relationship what it is that his woman brings to the table, right? She's more organized than he is. So it's like, okay, cool. She's going to handle the small bills. And I was like, I'm the same way, right? I believe, you'll handle the small bills. There's certain things I delegate even to my wife. You understand? So there are things I'll go to my wife, and this is the thing women don't seem to understand about submission. Submission is not a guy controlling you. It is actually a form of power in and of itself. Because like my wife can tell you, there are certain decisions that we have to make as a team. I'll sit her down and tell her, "All right, cool, this and this has happened, or I have this opportunity. What do you think about it?" And we'll have a dialogue from there. But I'm still the head of our household.
So if she disagrees and you agree,
it's within reason. It's within reason. There are certain things that we have disagreed on, and I was like, I have veto power. I need to say that clearly. I have veto power, right? But I don't just veto her and be like, kwenda kabisa woman. What is a woman telling me? No. That's not you and not we espouse. It's usually just like, let's say an opportunity to do business checks in. She doesn't agree. I think it's a good idea. I'll sit down and be like, okay, cool. Tell me why you don't agree. And she'll give me a list. And I'm like, logically speaking, I can't argue with it. It's sound. Let's take a step back, give more time to, for example, we had wanted to invest in a certain biashara juzi, and then maandamanos happened. And everything was ready up until that point. And then first of all, the car broke down, I needed new gear, etc. Then with that delay, maandamano happened just as we're fixing the car, right? And she told me, we can't invest in anything in this current political climate. And I was like, yeah, I see your point. I'm not happy about it because I was really eager to get the ball rolling. But I sat back like, I see your point. I'll take a step back and, I'll listen to you. She's good at pangai money. Anyone that knows me knows, kazi yangu ni kuponda mali. You may earn money, tafuta money, and then spend it. She's the one who reins me in and is like today we're looking at the price of some stuff. And she's like, this thing has gone up by 5 bob. In the 2 weeks that we have checked out, this thing has gone up by 5 bob. This has gone up by 20 bob. I don't usually look out for those things. So I defer to her on that. But in terms of leadership, my family, I lead. I'm the captain. She's the first mate.
Even additionally, another concern we have is many women are choosing bad men, and they are shocked. Yes, they're shocked when that bad man is leading them poorly. If you have a man actually who you can respect when he vetoes a decision you've made, because you've already respected him enough to let him be your mate, let him lead you. That's something people are not looking at. Like, if I have chosen a woman and she has accepted to be chosen by me, When she gives me some advice, if I'm a smart man, I will listen to that advice she's giving me. Because one thing about women is they're very good at instincts. Very good at instincts.
No, they're not. If they are, we wouldn't have so many single mothers.
No, leave those ones alone. Leave alone the picking of men. There's some things they're very good at. I'll give them that. There's some things they're very good at.
Is there this confirmation bias? Women have a lower risk appetite, so they'll hesitate to pull the trigger. And then sometimes things unfold and you're like, you are right. Then we take this and say, you see, intuition.
But it's possible by that lower risk factor, she's helping you. Let's not take it away. Because when your higher risk factor, you can get something done. Then you can also fail either way.
Not those who have failed in some biasharas.
Yes. My point is, if a man is a man you can respect, a man who can actually lead you, he will most likely listen to what you are saying. So the end game is you can't have two leaders in a boat. If you want a marriage and you want to be a jogo like your husband, that's not a marriage anymore. You will butt heads like this. Yes. And most times you will actually end up losing that man because that man is like, I cannot be with this person. I don't have peace in my home. That's something people don't think about. Unless you want to respond.
So, sorry, feel free to respond.
I'm not sure how to respond. I agree with what you're saying, just to an extent. But I think in my head, a traditional marriage is very, what the guy says goes. That's immediately the first thing that came to my mind when I read their talking points, and I was like, why are they even discussing this topic?
No, but
honestly,
ideally that's the case. Like,
now that I'm listening to you, I'm like, okay, it's
nuanced.
Yeah,
it's
very nuanced. But I agree with some of the points you're saying. I'm trying to like.
You're a very based chick, by the way. Very traditional. You just don't know it because it's not cool to say that you're traditional, but you're very traditional.
The sisterhood must be feminist.
Femu Barales. Shout out Rolotobasi. So let me ask: is a modern relationship an upgrade from a traditional relationship?
I think it is. I think it's an upgrade.
Actually, what's a modern relationship before you go further?
Yeah. By the way.
For you?
For me, it's the opposite of a traditional marriage where I have autonomy now. Where I feel
How can
like...
you be married and you have autonomy?
Even a man himself does not have autonomy.
Yeah, no one has autonomy once you're married. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Proceed.
Okay, as I was saying, at modern marriages where both the man and the woman have autonomy. And they have, they can decide, they have how do I say it? Sorry, I'm losing my words. Please continue before.
The reason I was asking about autonomy is because, you see, the mistake a lot of people do is we think you're meant to marry for love. You're not. You're meant to marry either to protect wealth or to amass wealth. And this is, again, an area where I differ with Zola. Bibi mdogo ndio unaoa for love. When she's 22 and you're 70, huyo ndio unaoa for love. My wife is like, you mean? But, like, for me, when it came to choosing my wife, I chose the chick who I felt brought out the best in me.
But you loved her.
Men and women love very differently. We love very, very differently. Do I love her? Yes. Right?
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I chose... You see, if we base it on love, I could fall out of love with her today, then what? I could fall in love with another woman down the road, then what? So it's not based on love. It's based off of... She and I have a very common vision. First of all, politically, very aligned. Religiously, very aligned. Right? And she and I also have like a common end goal. The goals align. So it becomes very easy for me to say 20 years of my life, 30 years of my life. You know me, I'm a 36-year-old man. Me, I'm midlife, maze. Because men live on average in Kenya till you're 72. In fact, that's women. Men die at about 68. So I'm midlife already, right? If I'm going to spend the rest of my life with someone, it has to be with someone with whom, by and large, we have the greater common denominator. You're getting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I have to ask. When you say autonomy, it means you can do whatever you want to do without being asked about it.
No, you can ask, but
you'll still do it if you don't.
If they disagree, I can still decide to do it.
Then that's not a marriage.
What's that?
Just be single.
Just be single.
Just be single. Just be single, because this is what you don't get. If you're in a serious, actually, if you're in a marriage, is the reason why they say you become one. When you're talking about autonomy, even the man does not have autonomy.
How does the man not have autonomy?
For example, Zola has a goatee. If he wants to cut the goatee, he's going to have to go and talk to his wife and be like, yo, but babe also shaving this goatee.
Especially if she loves the goatee.
Yeah.
Or another thing.
Because at the end of the day, he has a responsibility to maintain desirability for her.
Or you can even go further. Something that is very complex. The school the kids are going to, which we're going for holiday. Where are we going? We, as in just common decisions. Or even another thing, I go and buy a car, and the family is struggling. Fees are not being paid. My autonomy, that is not autonomy anymore. That is just selfishness. That's recklessness. There's no autonomy in marriage.
But just simple things like me, I always use this example. I'll tell my wife, like, yo, you're not dressing like that when we're going out. Change. She complies. At the same time, she also tells me sometimes, like, yo, like, well, today she couldn't help, the jacket I have, the collar is chafu. By the time she was noticing, we had already left the digs. You're getting? So even now, there are times she'll tell me, I don't think it's appropriate. I like sleeveless knees. Sun's out, guns out, guys. Me and buff. Subscribe. No, but like, there are times she'll tell me, this is not appropriate. I'll be in a sleeveless and I'm going to a bank. She's like, fam, not appropriate at all. At all. You're getting?
I'm getting what you're saying.
Yeah.
But right now, you just said when you're disagreeing with something and she disagrees and you agree. When
I have veto power.
Exactly. That's a form of autonomy. Like, more often than not, you're going to win.
Actually, that's why I corrected you, Mapem. I told you, if you're in a good relationship, that does not happen. That does not happen. Because you've chosen a woman who is smart. Unless you've chosen a danderhead and you don't respect you don't respect this person you've chosen. It's actually respect for a man, for his wife, when he actually listens to what she's saying.
Because even when I tell her, don't wear this, I'm not going to tell her wear rags. I'm not going to tell her wear something that does look good or something risque. It's actually, I have her best interest at heart. She trusts that I have her best interest at heart. So nikimwambia, usivae hivyo leo. There's no back and forth. She understands, okay, maybe where we're going, it might be an issue. Or even just, my man just doesn't like me wearing X, Y, and Z. So I'm not going to. Simple.
Let me take it further. I'm a Christian, so there's something we say faith. Faith is having a good opinion of God. And I'll take that to a relationship. From what you're saying, and maybe I'm inferring wrong, you have a very bad opinion of a potential mate. And you think if a man tells you not to do something, you have no autonomy. That is having a bad opinion already. The thing is what if the man is telling you that because he cares about you? What if the man is telling you that because he has your best interests at heart? We have put this idea in our women's heads that just because a man is leading a relationship, most likely than not, he's going to kanyagia you.
Feminism.
And that is not true. If my wife tells me, by the way, chunga this, chunga that, I'm not saying it like it's evil. I'm not saying it like I cannot be autonomous anymore. No. And kill that idea of autonomy in a marriage. If you're together with someone, it's not autonomy.
It's no autonomy.
Zero autonomy.
It's like talking about autonomy in a business partnership. Can a partner just wake up and decide something that'll affect the business unilaterally?
No, they have to talk.
There's no autonomy.
Discuss, yeah.
However, there's always going to be maybe a managing partner. He has more authority, right? So you go and tell your partner, your business partner, I think this idea can really, really sell. And the managing partner will have veto power. At the end of the day, my wife is not marrying me. I marry her, right? I don't take her name. She takes mine. That comes with a responsibility. And I always use this as an example. My wife knows if we ever get into a situation where things are bad, I'll probably end up dead before anything happens to her. And it's because she appreciates the fact that I would throw away my life to preserve and protect hers, that she's like, oh, okay, so number one, you would say you found one of the best men in Nairobi. She has. Because she knows.
You found the
Yeah.
I won't refuse. I'm a good woman, but me, I'm the best man in Nairobi. That is why feminists get very upset, because I am their dream man, a man who is willing to protect them. But they'll never get such a guy. Feminists are just one bam, thank you, ma'am. Unagonga ukisonga. Chew like miwa, spit out, keep it pushing. And that comes with certain caveats. If I'm going to fulfill that traditional role of provider, of protector, it comes with caveats.
Actually, Tim, you've mentioned something very important. Do you expect the man who will marry you to, when a fracas happens, he says, let's fight pamoja?
Or he tells you, today's your time to go and check the door.
Yes. Please be honest.
I just don't know.
That's the answer.
Have you ever been in town? But did you go for mano?
No, I do not.
It's fine. Have you ever been in town when there is fracas? Maybe they start running out of nowhere.
I have.
Right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in town with a guy?
No.
Or around, you've never been, no, I'm not saying that you were dating the guy.
No, but like
with a friend or...
Okay, at that particular time, I was not with that guy. I was...
Cool. Now, which is fine, when it happened, when the fracas occurred, and you were with a guy, would you have liked a guy to tell you, me last week was my turn, this is your turn, where's Mama Mbele, you're the one to protect us?
Deal with this tear gas.
Deal with this makanga mwenye ananiongelesha shit.
Will you respect a man like that, actually, afterwards? Be honest.
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly.
Thank you. So if you expect a man to do something...
If you expect him to fulfill that traditional role of protecting you, there are certain traditional roles you're going to have to fulfill.
Yeah, as in, I'm not going to protect myself for you, and we are in an equal partnership. It does not make any sense. Another thing,
I don't usually, I'm usually out with Zola, and sometimes guys let out jinga. When we were young, we used to engage. Because pombe si supu. So you go out, drama it okay. Right? When we were younger, we used to engage. Nowadays, we try and walk away.
Now we know better.
Yeah, we try and walk away. But back then, Zola and I are equals as friends, as business partners. We are equals. So I don't tell Zola, you handle it.
We handle pamoja.
We both see mama.
Yeah.
We tell our women, go to the car, sit in the car, lock the door. Let's handle this situation. Na tunashuka, and we deal with it.
I even lost a watch because of that.
Yeah.
Very expensive
And
watch.
you always get women wet. Yes, because women are wired to like that traditional man.
But are we though? Who said we are?
Watch what they do, not what they say.
Okay.
Women will tell you, I don't like a toxic man. Are you familiar with the story for Bad Barbie? The porn star. Well, she's a porn star now, Bad Barbie.
No, she's an OnlyFans, but I don't think she's done porn.
OnlyFans, not what? But we should be saying con.
Yeah, she's not.
YouTube.
See, so you'll censor that stuff, please.
Yeah. So the thing about Bad Barbie is she's in an abusive, she's not in a healthy relationship, and the man tends to exercise his fists on her face. And she came out alleging he even keeps her away from her baby. She was asked to leave him, and she said, I'm staying. Watch what they do, not what they
say. That's one example. Do you have
Actually,
another one?
They're numerous.
Yes, there's a term called hybristophilia. Hybristophilia is a penchant for liking criminals. Right? We'll have that on the screen, director. I'll send it to you. Hybristophilia is a penchant for liking criminals, finding criminals sexually stimulating, right? Or arousing, right? Not all women, but always women.
All of those are women.
Not always women, not all women, but always women. Do you understand?
I think so, yeah.
But even actually, Tim, is an easy way of explaining that. You're in a club, there are two men. Both of them are maybe accompanying the club, because you look like those chicks who don't mind having male friends.
Something that in traditional relationships you cannot have.
So the two male friends, something happens. One of them slinks back like a bitch. The other one actually tries to defend the table and everything. Is your opinion of these two people the same anymore? If maybe you found them attractive equally. The guy who tried to defend you from the mess, and this guy who slunk back inside doing this and hiding. Let's be honest.
I don't know. I think
that answer is
I think the more risk-averse guy is more attractive.
You're either lying or you're an outlier. I won't judge, but it's only those two.
No,
options.
Words don't make sense because just now she said
Because
if that girl's trying to tell her to fight someone,
Yeah, she'll be very upset. Yeah.
So
See, that's what I've said. Like, the more...
no, this kabas means the guy who slang bass.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I mean the one who
Protected. you.
protected.
That's the point.
Yeah.
And in a traditional relationship, that is expected.
Does this make
without
me
fail.
traditional?
You're very traditional.
Most
It's
of
just
them,
that
you don't-
you don't realize it.
Actually,
It's very traditional.
let me make it very simple. Most women are traditional in what they want from a man,
Yes,
but they are modern in what they want.
they want to give the man,
That's a problem I face.
which I think should even
Okay, I
be
think
the
that's
focal
me.
point of this. Where, like, for example, when you think of traditional female roles, right? Can you name some?
Yes. Caregiving.
Let's say the home.
Nurturing, saying, taking care of the home,
Yeah.
cooking, cleaning, things like those, right?
Yeah.
Would you expect to split that 50-50
Yeah.
with your guy
Yes.
if he's providing? If he's paying the bulk of your bills?
If he is... I don't know. Yes, he has to do something. I can't just be doing everything.
Oh my goodness! If the man is providing everything for the home, he
He's
still has to do something
Why
else.
is he providing everything though? What am I doing? Am I just staying at home the whole day?
Do you know housework is not easy?
I know it's not easy.
It's actually-
See, that's why we get
Housework is
a
actually-
house help. Us-
Housework and keeping children is not an easy
I know it's
thing.
not an easy task. I've seen a mom
Actually,
do it, and it's a lot of
easier as
work.
they get older. It's difficult when the younger the child is, but the older they get, because children begin to gain independence and they begin to want to explore the world on their own.
By that time, the wife they should not be in the home anymore. She can do something. That
Okay,
early
cool, but-
period is very tough.
No, okay. Also about traditional roles, one of the things I believe is a man must know how to cook and clean his house. And traditionally, a man had to know how to take care of his own nyatsimba. Do you know
Yes.
what a nyatsimba is? So in my culture, when a man came of age or was nearly of age, the man's father would give him like a small corner in his homestead for him to put up a house and go and start his life on his own as a man, to taste the world rather. Right? And test himself against the world. So that house is called a nyatsimba. A man must know how to cook for himself, must know how to clean for himself. Certain traditions will say a man, like in Luya, a man does not enter the kitchen. I don't agree with that because I believe men are warriors. And I need to say this very clearly. Men are warriors. Part of being a warrior meant you would leave the village and go to raid or to hunt. When you're doing that, some of these wars and escapades would take you miles away from your village, right? What happens when you're out hunting? Does that mean that you're going to starve? Does that mean that you bring a woman along with you to hunt? No.
Yeah.
A man must be able to cook for himself, right?
Actually, a man must be able to do everything to survive.
Yes. Thank you.
Everything to survive.
Yes.
Simple as that. Meaning cleaning your
Right?
house, cooking.
So, however, when a man is with a woman and the guy is providing or he's doing everything he needs to do as a man, I do not feel like that man should be handling those tasks traditionally. The traditionally female task, you shouldn't have to. And the fact that you think a house help should cook for your husband, my lord.
Let him see already whatever it is right now. You want traditional, but you don't want to give traditional.
No,
Which is the ultimate irony
no,
of
but
our
I'm not
generation.
saying. I think you took my point out of context.
I apologize.
What
Explain.
I was saying, if he's okay with providing everything, but he's not okay with like taking care of things around the house, then he should. I don't know.
It's not that
Like,
it's not okay.
Am I? What am I doing? Am I working? Am I at home? Am I?
You're at home.
In this situation, I must stay at home.
Yeah.
I don't. Wow.
That's okay. Let me take it further. Because it's a big problem we face. Because at the end of the day, we are in a generation right now where doing nothing of being the sole provider is very hard.
Yeah.
It's almost untenable.
Yes, the economy is very tough. And most likely, both of you will have to work to support your marriage and your family. Now, in that type of a situation,
Please just hold this for me.
a smart man should be able to say, okay, you work out something with your woman. Me, I love cooking. I'll cook supper, I'll do this, I'll do that. What I hate doing is washing the house. You can wash the house, you can do this. You figure a place where you, both of you, see what are my strengths, what are your strengths, how can we help each other? This is what you're bringing, this is what I'm bringing.
Cool.
This is what you can do for me, this is what I can do for you. That is the thing that you come to.
I like that.
Yes, because
I'm okay with that.
And that's the thing. It's, at the end of the day, the man is supposed to now bring that thing up.
I can't bring it up.
No, you're leading as a man. You can bring it up. There's no problem.
Okay.
But as a man who's leading a relationship, these are things you should have brought up even before she brought them up. Why she bring them up? You're doing a bad job.
And I love what you're saying, because this showcases what the podcast is really about. Us guys trying to help men to figure out, as a man, how do you navigate relationships in the modern world? Especially as a man who is a man. Like, you're not a pansy. You're not, you guys have no idea how much I struggle not to curse. I talk like a pirate. This is what the podcast is all about. Trying to help men figure out where to place their foot. Like, find your footing, and then how to lead in the relationship. Yeah. And it's very interesting that you are very traditional. I don't think we've had a lot of, we've had a lot of, liberal women seated down right here, led by their, should I say queen or president?
But Tim, I think actually she actually fits the stereotype of the modern woman.
Do tell.
Again, as I said, you want traditional things done for you, but you don't want to do the traditional things yourself. All those women, if you had asked them the same questions, you'll have answered like her.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's the simple truth, because we have been things so far where feminism has taken women, where in essence, what feminism has done is taken away responsibility from women,
given them all of the authority without responsibility.
But they still expect, that's why you hear a modern feminist woman saying, pay for the first date, pay for this.
And ironically, a modern feminist will even complain he was not a gentleman.
Yes.
Unironically.
Without any shame. They still want those gender roles are perfect for women in relationships as far as a man doing. But when it comes to the woman doing, that's where now it's like Drake. Nah, I don't want to. Yes. That's why all of the things right now we are telling you, and we are giving you example from men doing for you, like this. When it's for you to do it for the man,
that's a very good point, Zola.
That's the thing. That's the biggest problem we face.
And you should really consider what we are talking about. Like when we talk about,
I'm really going to be thinking about this for a while.
Traditional relationships, because traditional relationships are what are truly fulfilling to both men and the women involved. Because I'm sure you do not want to be with a man and have to figure out how to take care of the more significant bills. You don't want that.
In fact,
don't get me wrong, life has ups and downs, and there are times when he'll be on a hog, and there are times when his finances will have flatlined, right? When he's living on the hog, he's going to be taking care of everything. And when things get tough, should things get tough, as happens in life, you should also be able to step up, which is another reason why we don't tell men to get with feminists, because feminists are usually largely useless women. A feminist would want all of the authority without the
responsibility.
And don't get me wrong, all women are like that, but it's on a spectrum. Feminists are the worst of on the worst end of the spectrum, and then there are more sensible women.
Can you define for me a feminist in your own words?
Because any woman that in this day and age is still agitating for equal rights is a feminist.
So you don't think women deserve equal rights to men?
That's not what I've said.
What are you saying?
They have equal rights. Name a single thing I can do. Name a single thing I can do that you can't do. Outside of bench pressing 100 kilograms.
Right now, under our constitution, that is illegal.
You can go to protest on the streets and fight police. So can I.
Give us just one. Just give us one.
In fact, you guys are even protected. Did you see the cops were not pigging the chicks? Cops were not pigging the chicks. All you had to do was scream, I'm not going. And the cops would be like, yo, achana na huyu. Did you see a single man says, kwanza there's one girl who said sipandiko, alishika yeye bolingo ya ngai wakaingisha yeye kwa Mariamu.
That part I think there were no chicks who were shot there.
I'm not sure about that because there was straight. There was a doctor who was shot in the back.
I'm saying there's some female who were killed on the head. The snipers just start getting dudes. The guys were on the front lines.
Yes. Well,
but even chicks don't go front lines that much. So there's no... The cops actually have some
right. So my point is, if you cannot name, if you're struggling to name a single right I have, name a single right I have that you don't.
This rights that we both have in common is because of feminism.
No, actually that is... shout out Becca. I'm due to have a debate. a lady who is unfortunately sinking into the delusions of feminism. But here's the thing. The need for equal rights is anathema to me because even traditionally, it's a colonial concept. Traditionally, you're a Kikuyu,
Yeah.
so is Ola. You could hold power. To the point you could be the matriarch of your family and hand your name down to your son and so on into perpetuity. So there would be Wamboi, Alan Wamboi. I don't know what you'd name your son. Alan Wamboi, right? Alan Wamboi would go on to become this great man, and the Wamboi household has your name, Wamboi, right? So how is that a patriarchy? How are Kikuyu patriarchal?
Actually, let's hear. What are you going to say about that? What is it that
Kinjekitile and Wale led men into war. The one theater where we usually say is probably not probably. I say women should never be on the battlefield. Kinjekitile and Wale led her people on the battlefield against colonialists. And this was back in 1940, 1920, 1910. You're getting?
I'm getting what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with any of the points you're saying. I'm just saying you're focusing on the points that are on your side.
Give us some that are on your side.
I don't know why I'm really struggling to come up with them. I have them. I had them when I was coming here. I did. But now I
The
just...
truth is, nature itself abhors the concept of equality. Not even your teeth are equal. That's why they specialize. That's why you have biting teeth for crunching nuts and you have for tearing. You have for biting the fruit. You don't use them all the same. Yet they're all teeth and you love them equally. I mean, if you're missing 2 or 3, you probably wouldn't be smiling the way you are.
Actually, what's the next topic? Because it's
Yeah.
such a
Can
group.
can a traditional relationship thrive between feminists first of all, and then a girl who's a feminist and a chick who's a feminist and a girl who's based?
Let me answer that before she answers, so she can gather her thoughts. Two feminists, I believe it can, but the man will be a bitch,
Agreed?
and it'll just be a terrible relationship.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it will not be happy for both of them. It will be
Yes.
those ones you call toxic. The second one also will be, the guy does not need to be a bitch, but it still has a very low success ratio because their ideas the feminists will bring into that relationship are not consistent with how a relationship should go over time.
And they'll be designed on purpose to destroy his masculinity.
Yes. And over time, you will find this man will, if he does not leave the relationship, he'll be
Broken down.
Yeah, that's what they call infect. Ula mekaliwa chapati. The man does not even talk in the. You've seen husbands who don't even talk during when you go home. The woman is very noisy. She's everything actually has to happen through the mother. The husband does not even talk.
And especially when you see it, especially through the children.
Yes.
Where the children will always defer to the authority of the mother, but never really the father.
They don't care what all the dad says. And the problem with that is the people who suffer most from that relationship, apart from the man, are the kids. Well, because the kids never get what is supposed to be, who a man is supposed to be, who a woman is supposed to be.
They don't get to enjoy the best of masculinity.
Yes. They have a very dysfunctional idea of relationships. And you find the women that dynamic, the daughters go and try and do that to other men. And they find it's not successful because that relationship for that man who has stayed is a bad relationship. Those type of men, if they are rich, they spend most of the time in golf clubs.
Or
They
in
are away
bars,
from- yes.
or with ndogondogos. And
They
then
are-
you
they are away from the home.
find he prefers the family he's established with his side piece, with his concubine, than the proper family.
Where
Because
actually
the
can be
proper
man.
family is emasculated.
Then for the men, the biggest problem is the boys who are born in that type of home they have a very skewed sense of what a marriage should be.
Those are the guys who, when you hear toxic masculinity, those ones.
Or there's the two sides. There's the ones who will poop their wife like crazy. And there's one who is a bitch so much so that his wife is always saying, I'm not leading this relationship. Me no nafanya kila kitu.
And she'll be bitter about
Very
it.
bitter about it. That's the biggest problem. You can answer.
Okay. The question was?
Do you think feminists can have healthy traditional... First of all, do you think they can be in traditional relationships?
Yes, I think they can if they want to. If they choose it, yes, they can.
How can you be a feminist and be in a traditional relationship?
Feminism is about doing whatever you want to do. It's not about doing.
It's about doing whatever you want to do.
It's free of choice.
That's literally
Feminism
rooted in
is-
Satanism. Like, the
No.
devil's mantra is do as thou wilt. I'm sorry. I'm not meant to go on a religious tangent. I'm sorry.
Feminism is about having the power to do whatever you want to do without judgment, without.
Now, you do know.
Let her finish.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
just
sorry.
continue.
No. I'm sorry.
No, just finish your whole idea, please.
Proceed,
Because it was, can two feminists work out, and can a feminist and a
be in a
traditional man?
traditional relationship.
Yes, I said they can be in a traditional relationship. See, that's it, Amma.
There's no defense of it. You've seen them working.
I think we have 10 minutes, so we have to keep.
Yes, I've seen them work very well, actually.
Flourishing relationships.
How? When you think
They're
about
not like
it,
perfect, but they're good.
no relationship is perfect, but when you think about it, feminism is about modern feminism. From the third wave feminism onward, third wave feminism onwards was about deconstructing masculinity. Fourth wave feminism became about I am also a man now. Right? Now, how are you meant to be deconstructing masculinity, yet you're with a guy? Like, how does that make sense? And with a traditional man, a man who's proud to be a man. I'll give you an example because that's a very lofty. I've spoken a lot of words. Let me give you an example. How can I, who is a very traditional man, be with a woman who resents everything about masculinity?
Or traditional masculinity,
I don't
in essence.
think feminism is about resenting masculinity. Okay, for me,
Then why are you
it's
tearing down the
not.
patriarchy?
Pardon?
Why are you tearing down the patriarchy?
Am I?
No, that's what feminism is.
No, actually, no, you've explained it very well. He gave it the nuance. There's first wave, voting rights, second wave.
First wave, second wave is about
Yes,
equality. First wave, voting rights. Second wave, I want to work. I want to keep the job I had after the men came home from World War II.
Yes.
Third wave became about, first of all, deconstructing masculinity and then destroying the family. And then fourth wave was about, I'm now a man.
So he's talking about the third wave now.
Third onwards, yeah.
Yes.
Or third, fourth. Okay, for me personally, feminism is about, again, I've said it like 10 times now, freedom of choice. So,
Let me ask you, are you familiar with the saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should?
yeah, I know it.
So when you say feminism is about the ability to do anything, my take on that is not nuanced at all. I am not nuanced with feminists. I don't like feminists. I can't stand feminists. I can't stand feminism because you cannot do as thou wilt. Think of it like this. Should a guy who is strong can take what he wants? Should he? And that's what masculinity is.
Exactly. That's what I agree with that part. That's just because you can doesn't mean you should. But you should have the option. Like the option is there.
The illusion of choice. Anyway, I'm about to get philosophical. Sometimes the things that you think you can choose is just an illusion. It's just an illusion. For example, a woman would say, I think I should be able to be a police officer. Right? She's allowed. Like I said, anything I can do, you can do, right? She becomes a police officer, meets a bigger man who is a criminal, who does not want to get arrested and go to jail, and she has to fight him. Then what? Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd argue you shouldn't even have that situation arise. Why do we have female
She
soldiers?
chose it. That's her battle to fight.
Like I said, not everything should be allowed. But we should be guided by law.
No, I like what she said in terms of you can choose whatever you want to choose. But here's the problem I have with that statement. There are consequences.
There are. We're not saying there are no consequences.
Those consequences now is the thing that I think many feminists don't think about. Just because you can sleep with 100 men doesn't mean you should. That's because...
Yeah, I'm agreeing with the
That's
part.
what a woman can't sleep with 100 men, but okay, cool.
Consters have done it.
No, even your body rejects idea. You'll start to smell. You actually give off a smell.
I don't know that.
We'll share in the description of this video.
True.
Yes, in the description of this video, I'll share a link to doctors discussing it. You'll actually give off a smell. It will mess up your pH. It will mess up your pH. It will mess up your pH. You'll give off a smell. Like, nature abhors deviance. Nature is ruthless to deviance. So you will give off something that signals to every other man that this is a chick who's run through. But anyway, we are not going to go into all of that.
She was saying something.
What was I saying?
You were talking about consequences and all that.
Yeah, I'm saying as feminism, we're not disagreeing that there are no consequences. We know there are consequences. we want the option to have those consequences in the first place. Before we didn't have them.
Do you know a consequence of equality is what?
No. What is it?
Utapigwa kama mwanaume.
Is that a consequence you want?
You want equality. Take it. Full equality. Utapigwa kama mwanaume. I don't even mean physically. I mean, unajua those battles people fight in, even just in corporates. Utapigwa ile vita kama ndume. Because people tend to go light. People go slow. They go light on women. When you're dealing with a woman, men tend to try not to compete until by the time they're realizing I should have competed, it's usually too late. Right? If you want equality, take it as it comes. Equal rights, equal lefts.
No, I know the problem you're facing on this one. As I'm thinking about it, it's that picking and choosing that I dislike about feminism. It's I want to have all the authority to do what I want to do, but you as a man, you have to do this. So you don't want to be held by any standards, but you want the man you're dealing with to be held by standards. That is a big problem for me. It's hypocritical. If you want not to be held by any standards, I can also not be held by any standards.
Yeah.
I can say, I'm not going to defend this woman.
Even then we should be celebrating F boys and
Yes.
F niggas.
That's the
F
thing.
nigga.
They should be
celebrating them.
criticize F niggas. Men normally criticize both. May I say, by the way, this thing of...
And I think every man should go through a phase of being an F nigga, but every woman should try and maintain her purity. It's cool.
So we finish this thing by now, because I think...
Guys, number one, subscribe.
No, there's something last.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine.
It's the last one.
But guys, subscribe. Right? Then, as we move on, let's talk about what's the best solution when it comes to looking to date. In the balance between traditional and modern.
I think what Zola said earlier, the one where you discuss on each gender roles that you're going to do in the relationship, I think that's the best way to do it. You discuss and agree on what you're going to do and what you're not going to do, and come to an agreement of how the relationship is going to work.
For once, we are agreed.
Yeah, I'm also shocked, but I agree with you on
You guys
that.
have agreed on a lot more than you agreed with me on. You've agreed on a lot, actually, guys. Me, what I'll tell guys, the solution is, my nigga, don't go for a woman like Kamenegoro. Someone who goes for you at nimegulu by 27 men. But none of those 27 men wanted to keep you. They were just eating and moving on. That's like a public restroom. That's like someone taking pride and saying, I have a title deed to what used to be, this land used to be a public restroom. What I mean by that is to say, if you're a sensible man with a future, do not tie yourself to hizi vinyangarika, hizi umbwa koko, hii umbwa ya jiji inaweza kula in anyone's garbage can. No. Respect yourself. And as a man, you should be traditional. And I'll tell you why you should be traditional. Liberal men are weak. Liberal men are useless. And scientifically, liberal men have low testosterone.
And not respected.
Yes.
Not respected.
People pay you lip service and tell you at no one respects you. No one respects you. Kumbaf at I'm liberal. Kumbaf.
I think we're done.
Subscribe.
We're done. See, do you laughing?
Because that was a